Your looks, your job, your bank account, do they matter for getting girls? There's a lot of debate on this subject. Some people say absolutely it's the only thing that matters. Some people say it doesn't matter at all. What's the truth? The actual truth is somewhere in the middle, and what I'm gonna say is those things don't matter directly, but they do matter indirectly. And what I'm getting at is a concept I like to call iconography. Okay, so let's unpack that. What is an icon? An icon in computing it's a little picture that symbolizes a bigger thing, right? It's like a little picture that symbolizes an application or process or a picture or whatever, okay? That's what iconography is. It's where the girl's reading some little thing about you to tell her a bigger story. So for example, the girl may not care that you're a doctor, but she may care that you're ambitious and successful and educated. Girl may not care about the way you're dressed, but she may care that you would fit in with her friends or that she could get along with you. So this is the idea of iconography, and you may have heard me say before, it's not your looks, it's your look. Girls are cueing in a lot less to whether you have like facial symmetry and a perfect physique. That does matter a little bit, but mostly they're cueing into, does this guy seem like a win for me? Does this guy fit into the category or the idea of what fits, what I believe in as the idea of boyfriend? Okay, so think for yourself. If you think of the idea of having a girlfriend, there are probably images that flash into your mind, right? Maybe like for you, you imagine a blonde. Maybe you imagine like a sundress. Maybe you imagine a bikini. Maybe you imagine tans. Maybe you imagine her having like a really good job. Maybe you imagine like a cocktail party and her fitting in. Different people have different images, but the point is you have an image. The point is you have an idea in your head of what this girlfriend would be, and that's based on your social conditioning. It's based on what you've learned to assign value to based on, your parents, your peers, the life that you've had, okay? And everybody's iconography is a little bit different. Some people iconographically want, like girls want an entrepreneurial guy. Some girls want a guy with a nice, safe, stable job, and that's to do with how they were raised. And that's the idea of blueprint, which I've talked about in other programs. However, there are certain things iconographically which are almost always gonna be true, okay? A girl wants a guy who has what we call social proof, who has friends, a good social circle, people like him, he has social connections. That's virtually always gonna be the case. Girl wants a guy who has his shit together, right? Has maybe a good job, has access to resources, has a decent bank account, lives at a comfortable level, those kind of things. And so she's not necessarily cueing into every little thing about you, but she's asking herself, would being with this guy be a win for me? Would it elevate my social status? Would it elevate me in life? She's also, because women are very social, thinking, would my friends, would my parents approve of this person? Could he fit in? So, how does this matter? How is this important? Well, let's say you have a girl from who grew up in the country club, she grew up on yachts. And she's talking to a guy who's like a very attractive alpha male type of guy who's like dressed as a biker, has tattoos, etc. She quite likely could be attracted to that guy because he has a lot of attractive qualities. However, if she's out with her friends are gonna look over and be like, oh God, Susie must be drunk, and they're gonna go save her. Save her, right? Whether she wants to be saved or not. Because why? Because iconographically, he doesn't seem to fit with her. Her whole life she's been saying, I want a boyfriend who's this, this, and this. Well, that guy's not fitting. So even if she's attractive, or he's attractive to her, it's going to be a problem for anything to actually happen, for anything to actually transpire, okay? So that's the idea of iconography. Or for example, let's say this happens a lot with online dating, right? Maybe girls care about height, or at least they think they do, right? I'll tell you a little dirty secret. On my online profiles, I put in a couple inches taller than I am because I know girls search on height. I know girls put in a category, I want guys between this height, and I know I'll get matched with more girls if I put in a taller height. And then I show up on the date and I'm shorter, and guess what? It's never once been a problem. Never once has a girl called me out. Actually, one time a girl called me out on it, but she still went home with me, okay? So it's never been a problem ever, ever, ever. So does the girl actually care about height on an emotional level? Does it actually make a huge difference? No, but there is that little bit of less resistance up front, that little bit of extra open window for you to convey your personality, right? So these things do matter. Your iconography does matter. So how can you use this? Number one, as much as you can, if you can have an iconography that is generally good to girls, do it, right? If you can dress a little bit better, do it. For example, if you were strapped for cash, for example, and you want to go out, instead of getting a bunch of going out clothes, maybe get one really fucking good going out outfit that's just the shit, and maybe even wear that multiple times, and who the fuck cares? You probably do better because iconographically, you look more high status, okay? So elevate your status that way. if you can convey your job in a way that makes it seem like you have your shit together a little more rather than less, and especially if you can seem excited about it, passionate about it, make it seem better, that's going to come off better for you. Getting a good haircut, being trendy, right? That's always going to help. It's certainly not going to hurt. So all those things are general iconography. Beyond that, every single girl has her own specific ideas of what she's looking for. So as you're talking to her, you want to be able to suss that out. You want to be able to figure out, is this girl the type that values, independence and entrepreneurship and freedom, or is this the type of girl that values stability? And as you're conveying yourself, you can convey the exact same person in different ways, right? So me, I can be like, yeah, I have, this entrepreneurial job, I travel the world, or I can be like, I started with this company 15 years ago, and through hard work, I've risen through the ranks till I'm almost at the top. Both are basically true of me, right? Both are basically true. But depending on who I'm talking to, I may phrase it one way or may phrase it the other way because I'm being sensitive to her iconography, all right? So this is a huge factor that's gonna make a big difference for you in terms of your first impression presentation, getting that window of opportunity, and maybe even more so when it comes time for the girl to settle down with you, for her to consider you a boyfriend, for her to introduce you to her friends, and also even the same night, there's a difference between attraction and getting a phone number and actually going home with the girl. And a lot of that's gonna come down to, do you fit her iconography? Are you fighting upstream, swimming against her perceptions, or are you swimming with